Okay, so this is a little bit of a different one, but here's day 149 of going through my old journal. That's a long quote. Okay, it says, every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. And it says below, draw several stars and write your most important goals and dreams in those stars so you can visualize reaching for them. So if you're following along, just maybe take a minute to think about what your goals and dreams are. And let's see what I did. So I said this was different because, yeah, it's not a lot of writing. So I drew, I don't know exactly what I was doing. So I drew some stars, and then I drew like some other kind of different kind of stars. And I remember when I was doing this, I felt really, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't draw a star. So I was having trouble drawing those big stars. And maybe I just gave up on these, or maybe those were like my bigger goals and these are kind of like offset goals, maybe further off goals. I don't know. But the first one we've got up there is PhD. Obviously, I've talked a lot about that. And it looks like I am going to be hopefully finishing that soon. And then this other one is bodybuilder. And if you've been following some of my other videos, you've seen that I'm kind of like making some progress on that. And then this third one says zero waste shop. And this is something that I've just kind of had in the back of my mind off and on. I'm surprised I didn't put like vegan, but yeah, so the zero waste shop, I got into minimalism and kind of like the zero waste stuff a while back. And the struggle for me was where I live, there's just, and at least like with my background and everything, it was hard for me to go zero waste. It was a lot of spending time and a lot of planning. And it was hard for me. And part of the reason was like, I just didn't know like where I could go. So I would see these things on YouTube or online on different blogs and stuff of people talking about like how they're zero waste. And I'm like, but I don't have a bulk store, or I don't, you know, I don't have like, we don't have a good recycling program. I didn't have anywhere to compost, and, you know, like I didn't know. And also there was like this struggle of like, they're like, okay, so you can make your own soap and stuff at home and you don't have to buy it. But then I'm like, but you have to buy the ingredients to make the soap. So, and I didn't have like a bulk way to do it. So I was like, you know, and I'm kind of a perfectionist. So when I wanted to go zero waste, like I wanted to go zero waste and I wanted to do it perfectly, and there was just no way to do it. So one of the ideas that I've had that I've just kind of been keeping on the back burner is to have a website that will be specific, because that was what I was having trouble for. I could find all of this information on zero waste stuff of people living in different places, but there was nothing like locally. And like every place there's different like conditions, and it can be harder or easier for people to find some of this stuff. And I thought, you know, what if there was a website where you could go and find your city and see what zero waste options there are. And I mean, there were some like online resources that had kind of tried to put it together, but I was like, there wasn't a lot for my area anywhere that I could find. And so I thought, well, what if I just open my own zero waste shop? Or the starting process would be like a website to where I could find zero waste options and share it with people in the area. And then, you know, the thought behind that is if I share that, other people are interested in that, it'll be more demand for package-free items, and, you know, maybe that could help spur it to grow in my area. And I actually bought like a web domain, and I just haven't built out the website. I did spend some time like trying to search for zero waste items in my area, and I just kind of came up, you know, I mean, I have some ideas of how I could find more, like reaching out to individual farmers and things like that, but I just don't have time right now with my PhD to put in all the effort that I would need to do that. So that's just something that's kind of on the back burner. I do want to reduce my waste. I do think it's crazy that we live in such a disposable society. And I have made some improvements over how I grew up. I think I've talked a little bit about how my family, it got to the point where for most of my like childhood, we like literally ate off of paper plates and would just throw them away. And we used disposable cups. We like everything was disposable. We would go through so many paper towels, so much toilet paper. So I mean, just so much waste, that it was hard for me to kind of break out of that, you know, when I started living on my own. And I have broken out of some of that. Like I don't use disposable, you know, plates and cups anymore, and I try to limit my waste, but I could definitely be doing more, but you know, there's that trade-off of like the time investment and the convenience to doing it. But I would like to, you know, try to build like a process of where I'm being less wasteful and hopefully share that with others. But yeah, with some of these other ones, I think these are kind of like further off and not as close to my mind. So I've got health expert or coach. And so I think part of that would be like, I don't know. I would just, you know, I'm doing all this work to try to become healthier, and I don't know if others, you know, I do spend a lot of time doing research and stuff on that, and, you know, kind of experimenting with myself. So I guess I hope that maybe one day in the future I can cut through all the garbage that's online and everything and find out like what's really healthy and what's not, and maybe help others that want to improve their health or, you know, be healthier at an older, as they age, to do that. And also I'm thinking about getting a personal training certification, which I know like there's a lot of certified personal trainers that aren't super knowledgeable. It doesn't take like a whole lot to get a certification. Sorry, my cat just came in the window. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's something in the future too. And then I have on here like community development and an eco village. And I've talked a little bit about that before, how I would like to get more involved in my community and try to make the community a better place, but I just don't know if I'm the person to do that. I don't know if I have the right personality to kind of network and make the connections I would need to do to put something together like that. And then the eco village, I do want to do a little bit more research on that, because I've mentioned that I've got like land and I would like to, I don't know. That's just something that I've heard about, where people live in these areas and they have people with different skills together, and, you know, everybody kind of works to live in a more sustainable way. So yeah, I think that was just, I just tried to think of like whatever ideas I could think of. And I've got a lot more ideas, but I guess those are just kind of the main ones. But yeah, I guess right now I'm working through my big stars. I've got the PhD, it's going well, working on the bodybuilding stuff. Then maybe I'll move on to the zero waste. And then maybe from there, I can keep working on kind of these other things. So I guess we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm not very good at forward thinking. I'm more just like, okay, here's this one goal. Let's work towards that. Then the next. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens in the future. But those are kind of my goals. Hopefully some of you have some goals that you're working for and try to kind of visualize them and work towards them in the future. Or maybe not. Maybe you're just happy where you're at and just want to get by. Maybe that's your goal, is to just, you know, make the best of what you have and just enjoy life as it is. So like I've mentioned before, as I get older, the more that seems more appealing to me, the thought of like having these big goals and doing something big in the world and making a place is becoming less and less appealing to me, and what's more appealing is just kind of enjoying things as they are and just kind of trying to get joy out of life from day to day. But anyway, that's what I have for that. I will be back tomorrow with day 150.